And we're live.
That was a lot that just happened.
I want to start off by just keeping it a buck, keeping it 100. Just letting everybody know right now, expectations, bring them down about here.
Yeah, bring them down as low as possible.
Pretty much.
Because we've filmed an episode 2 you're never going to see.
You might see bits of.
Yeah, eventually. Probably, but we just don't have anything else to post. But the problem at hand was so we filmed. It was very long. It was like an hour and 15.
Oh, it was longer. It was like an hour 25.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
Well, we're filming in 4K. We're filming on our phones because we're poor, don't have cameras. So hit us up if you feel sorry for us. Yeah, so Anna's angle didn't record because it was too big.
It did. Basically, it filmed the whole time, and then when you hit stop, it's supposed to automatically save, and it just poof disappeared. Did not save. So
Yeah, it was.
it went bye-bye.
It was gone. Then we were just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just make it work, whatever. No, can't, because I can't get rid of stuff that way because I'm on camera the whole time. Which
She's like, I can't cut around me being
a
dumb
bitch.
stuff.
Yeah, there was definitely a portion of me very impolitely, very
Being like, can you hurry the fuck up and finish this story?
pretty much, and we can reenact it. I went. Hold on, you can go ahead and you can just get to.
So and then I added on this other thing.
I just really can't wait to get to like the climax of this story. Like it's just such a good build up. Like I'm just really excited for it. And that was actually exactly how it went. That was pretty good.
Pretty the look I gave.
That was pretty good. Like pretty much verbatim. And then it just was awkward, which that we continued after that.
Yeah. It's fine.
It was fine. But I would have preferred to be able to cut some of that out or at least play with it some.
Cut around it. Make it funnier.
Yeah, do something with it. And that wasn't going to happen. Oh, I was slouching. Oh, so,
pause. Restart.
Oh, God, don't do that. What's his name is going to get upset. We're not talking about anything. Yeah.
And we're fixing our hair.
For too long. We're not talking about anything. It's only interesting if we research a topic and then talk about it because we're here to educate you all, not here to just talk.
Yeah. This isn't just a hang.
Yeah.
We're teaching you stuff. Because that's what you want to do you want to learn things in your free time and for entertainment.
Yeah. And you really want to learn them from us. Like we're super we're a
reliable source. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're your go-to.
What were some things that were said in the episode we won't post now that are worth retelling? I need a nose job. After editing myself, it's super traumatizing for me. Really, I never want to laugh again. Because every time I laugh, I'm like, and it's just horrible. I look like a witch. Like I should have been in Halloween Town or something. But not like a good-looking witch, because those are all like good-looking witches. But like that one
You're
dude.
when Calabar...
Stop it. No, I'm not.
turns him into the,
Yeah. Insert picture.
Yes.
So... yeah, that's pretty much how I feel, though.
You're before they defeat Calabar.
Yeah, I'm before. Oh, yes.
Or is it after?
It's because that one guy looks a certain way the whole time, then he turns attractive. Yes,
he started attractive.
Then he was ugly.
And then he...
then he was different. He wasn't ugly. He was beautiful on the inside.
He was aesthetically impaired.
Yeah, that's a really good aesthetically impaired.
I like that because I was thinking like visually impaired, but that means like you can't see, which I am. But I was like visually when you're looking at it, aesthetically.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love that. That's merch.
You're aesthetically impaired.
It's not your fault.
No, you're just born that way. And no one ever taught you any different.
Yeah, you don't know how to fix yourself.
So what other tidbits are worth mentioning from our Never Gonna See the Light of Day episode? Speaking of being visually impaired, I spent exactly $666 at the eye doctor.
That's not why that's funny. This is funny because that story took
entirely too long
15 seconds just now. That story was 4.5 minutes long. It doesn't sound like a long time, but it is.
When you have to sit there through it.
I do. There are parts of my face that I'm like, I have to post some because it's just like, it's kind of funny. But I'm really mad that I don't have your angle because it would have been so funny. Like that episode would have been really funny to do, just like the editing wise. But yeah. And a door fell on you when you were little.
Yes.
That was a story time.
That was fun. maybe you'll get the full story time at some point.
Yeah, maybe again, because
I'm too upset to tell it again.
Yeah, it was really triggering. That was like, we had like a frenemies situation where like it was so triggering she like stormed off.
Oh yeah, stormed off set.
No, the other stuff we talked about, the bear thing in Alaska.
Oh yeah, Fat Bear Week,
which is basically where they're like, I'm gonna bet on how fat this bear is gonna become, and like that's pretty funny.
No, just how fat it is. If it's the fattest bear. That's it.
But there were before and after pictures.
Yeah, so you could see what it looked like after it.
So you didn't bet on the bears when they were skinnier?
No.
What the fuck? Okay, this is worth mentioning.
Is it?
Because I figured you would bet on the bear on the before, and then you would see your after.
No, maybe they voted on which bear they think got the fattest.
Oh.
Because like when they exit hibernation in the spring,
yeah,
they're skinny. As skinny as a bear can be. A skinty bear.
Skinty.
And then
what's like the fat bear version of this?
I don't know. It's not a.
This is skinny bear. So like, what's fat bear? Fat bear. Like the opposite motion. I don't know about that.
But the bears then gain weight over the summer going into the fall and stuff. So I think maybe they vote on who. That's why you see they got their summer bods and then their winter bods. And so I think maybe it's you see the before and after.
How nice of a life. Listen, how nice of a life for a bear to like during summer the goal is to get fat. You wake up and you're like,
my only job now.
First of all, you wake up fucking skinnier, so what a life. Second of all, then you're like, wow, my entire goal before I go back to bed is to get fat. And I don't have to be ashamed of that.
Nope.
Like, what a fucking life.
Fat bears means you're going to live.
So on the way over here, I had a thought. Oh. And I want to know if all of 12 of you also hate doing this, and you. Mm-hmm. Do you just despise getting gas? Do you just fucking hate it?
That's so funny you say that.
I need gas really bad. And my fucking light came on the way over here. And I'm like, fuck. But I knew it. Like, it wasn't like it was a surprise.
I knew literally me this weekend. I hate getting gas so much.
Like, why?
There's one gas station I usually use.
Mm-hmm, same, yeah. I know it's the same place.
I'm just like, I know it's a little bit cheaper, and usually I'll do it while I'm out running errands because it's near where I grocery shop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was grocery shopping it was probably Thursday or Friday last week. Mm-hmm. Went out, got my groceries, and I'm like, I really should get gas while I'm over here.
Sure.
And I didn't. I had maybe a little bit right at a quarter tank, but my car lies. My gas gauge lies.
That's
because it'll stay at or a little bit above a quarter tank for entirely too long. Like it'll just stay there for days. And then all of a sudden it just drops and you're like empty. And I'm like, bitch, where was the warning?
That's relatable. I get that.
Where was the warning?
That's how I feel with my, with mental health. You're just like, I'm kind of right there. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
I can keep going at a quarter tank for a while. So I knew I should have gotten gas while I was there. I knew I should have, but I'm like, I really hate getting gas. So I was like, I'm just not going to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to be home doing stuff the next day. I'm not going to take my car anywhere. It's fine. And so then it's Sunday night. And
that was such a it was Sunday night.
And then it was Sunday night. And every other Sunday I have dinner at my mom's house with my family. Mm-hmm. I lost track of my Sundays apparently. And so dinner's supposed to be at like 6:15 and it's probably like 6:30, 6:45. I'm in the shower. Oops. And my mom calls me and
she's like, hello.
I was like, and literally all day I was like, is it dinner weekend? I don't think it is. Is it? I don't think so. I don't think it is.
It's not.
It's not. I should have asked. And so she calls me and she's like, hey, we're done eating. Are you coming or on your way or what? And I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing dinner.
You were like, first of all, why didn't you text me before you ate?
First of all, no, it's fine.
I'm kidding.
I'm late to everything, so it literally doesn't hurt my feelings.
You literally are late to everything.
If people start eating before I get there, my feelings are not hurt. I'm fine.
That's good.
So then I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing dinner. And she's like, yeah, well, don't forget, I have some groceries here for you. She had done a grocery run at an Aldi, Aldi, and got me a couple things. And she was like, don't forget you have that stuff over here. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I'm in the shower, so I can be there in like 30, 45 minutes.
Which really translates to like an hour and a half.
Uh-huh. And so then I get out the shower. And at that point, I was like totally in the mindset of I'm going to do my like nighttime routine and then just lay in bed and watch Netflix or HBO.
That's really hard to like change from that.
And so then I was like, okay, well, I've resigned myself to, okay, I'm gonna have to put like regular clothes on, get sweaty again, because it's like gonna be at least an hour process just for me to drive there, get my stuff, and drive home. And so I'm thinking about it, and I was like, oh shit, I need to get gas.
You're like, I can't come.
I literally have less than a quarter tank in my car, and I have to get gas and stop for it before I can go to my mom's house.
Yeah,
I won't make it there if I don't. And then I just called her, or I texted her, and I said, I don't have gas in my car. Can I just come tomorrow and get it? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So, but that's how much I hate getting gas, is that I was like, I'd
rather starve. Like, I just don't, I'm literally like, I could have gotten it today.
It's just such an inconvenience.
So like, do you all feel that way? Do you hate getting gas? I fucking hate getting gas. I don't know why you need it, but I just am like, I fucking can't stand getting it.
I'm so jealous of the people who like their dad will fill up their car with gas for them, or like their husband or boyfriend or whoever. Like, oh, I had a friend like that in high school where she never put gas in her own car. She didn't have to. She would if she needed to, but usually all she had to do was tell her dad, hey, I'm getting low on gas. And he like literally didn't mind at all, would take the car and go fill it up with gas and bring it back.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
what the fuck?
Must be nice.
Yeah.
What's that? Must be nice. Must be nice. I had a thought when we were setting up.
Oh, okay.
Tangentially somewhat related to our why conversation last time.
Oh, yes. Okay.
But not completely related to that.
Okay.
You don't get to know what the why conversation was.
Now I'm literally like, basically, this was it.
No. This is tangentially related to that. So, earlier, are there any other words?
Oh, fuck.
That...
Shit.
Words are funny things, aren't they?
I'm like,
hey, English language.
I'm like, oh, no.
Are there any other words that you say them more than once in a row and it changes the meaning of the word? So, like, it'll make sense.
Like, I can barely fucking speak
or like,
English.
I don't know what you're saying.
Definitely don't know what you're talking about.
I'll give an example.
Okay.
The word hoe. When you say hoe once, it's either hoe as in a gardening tool or hoe as in a promiscuous person. Okay. When you say ho-ho.
Oh, it's like one of those chocolate things.
It's a snack cake.
Yeah.
It's like
I was really excited about that one.
It's like, I know that.
I know what a ho-ho is. They're yummy.
When you say ho-ho-ho.
Santa.
Merry Christmas, right?
Happy holiday. No, that's definitely a Christmas thing.
Yes. Only Santa says
only
ho-ho-ho.
Yeah, ho-ho-ho.
So, my question, are there any other words that function in this way? That when it's ho, ho-ho, ho-ho-ho?
I feel like I need to like do research on this.
I know.
Oh, I feel very much like...
It needs to be like there's...
You know, sometimes you say that when you're talking. It's like not all the time, but it's like it's because of whatever you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to use that twice.
Mm-hmm. And there's a
couple
other
think of
times,
a sentence
right now,
but I know that it happens.
That
I can't think of a fucking sentence that would apply to him. However, y'all let
we're
us
gonna
know.
sit here thinking about it like I've had that happen with other words like
that's gonna fucking piss me off.
To or the. Sometimes it just doubles up and you're like, this is
two, but it's not spelt the same. Like TU is like a little thing you dance in.
Yeah, TO is Toto.
Also, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of it because both of us have straws in our drinks.
Uh-huh.
And I saw someone ask this, and I was curious. Does a straw have one hole or two holes?
Two holes.
Is it two, or is it just like one long hole?
No, it's two holes.
That's like from the start?
I saw this as well, and I have an explanation and an argument. My argument is that a hole is just an entryway into something.
Is this
it's
like
not
a
the
fact?
whole thing. This is my fact. It is a fact to me. It is my fact of life.
Okay.
A hole is an entryway. It's an entry point into something.
Okay.
So the hole being an entry point.
Yes.
It's the same concept as the definition of a line.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
In math,
fuck.
Stay with me.
No,
stay with me.
We're bored.
Y'all, stay with me. In math, you learn that a line is not just something connecting point A to point B. A line is actually an infinite series of points all connected to each other. But so I think of it like, so a line does have two endpoints, even though technically the definition of a line is a series of multiple endpoints, like basically connected to each other, right? So when you think of a line, think of taking a pen and then you just do dot, 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 dot right next to each other, and eventually that makes a line. It's the same, and then you just stop. So there's still an endpoint A and point B, but it's just an infinite number of dots leading up from endpoint A to endpoint B. You look confused. Where's it going? I'm getting there.
I'm like, okay, I'm trying, I'm not.
How does it connect to the whole?
I'm like, well, the whole.
The whole of it all. So when you think of, a straw, I like to think of it almost like a tunnel, right? So you've got.
Is that not a hole in the ground?
I didn't say it wasn't a hole. I say it's 2 holes. A straw, a tunnel has 2 holes, one on each side, and point A and point B.
2 holes.
Yes, that's what I said. 2 holes. A straw has 2 holes. It's not 1, it's 2.
I don't remember. I didn't actually have an opinion. I just thought the question was funny.
But
now I'm like,
I regret this.
I will argue the 1 hole thing just to be that person.
So then if you use the line analogy, if you will, where it's endpoint A, endpoint B, multiple points make up the line.
Okay.
Apply that to the straw or the tunnel, where it's not just, I would argue, it's not just 1 hole or 2 holes. It is an infinite number of microscopically thin holes touching each other.
This is too much for me. This was just not.
I would make the argument that it's an infinite number of holes. I just got very close to the
This was such. Oh my gosh.
Meltdown.
This was such a actual. I'm going to say the word mathematical, scientific explanation that came from you.
Very technical explanation.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the word. I'm not even good at the English language, so I'm really not good at that much. So there's not a lot that I'm great at. Talking is not one of them. I mess up words more than Joe Biden, which is a problem because, yeah. So my thought for that was...
you know what you should do? You should start a podcast.
Yeah, we should... This was your idea.
It was.
This was your idea.
And I made you help me.
Did I have anything else that was really entertaining? No. That was the main thing besides me just being traumatized.
So there were 2 things I saw on Twitter. Well, actually, there's now 3 things.
Oh.
I'll bring up the thing you told me when I started to talk about while we were setting up. I hate the phrase, the thing. I wanted to do the thing, but I couldn't. I have to get enough spoons.
Excuse me?
I have to get enough spoons to do the thing.
Who the fuck says that?
Do you know the phrase, the spoons?
No.
Having spoons?
No. When I see spoons, there's only 2 things. There's really actually 1 thing I think of, and it's the person with the spoons on their eyes that says, block out all the haters. And I'm pretty sure it's a Vine. I'll insert that here too.
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I was too busy blocking out the haters.
That's all I think of when I hear the spoons.
So having spoons is an analogy. It's a visual representation to kind of show your cognitive
I don't have any.
And emotional and energy levels, an ability to get stuff done.
So no spoons.
So the idea being that say you start off with 5 spoons. If you're at peak best you 100%, you have 5 spoons. Everything that you do throughout the course of the day requires a different number of spoons or a different,
Who the fuck
it takes
says
a half
this?
a spoon or a full spoon. It's a thing. And so it's I started off with 5 spoons and then I had to go do this really big thing for work and that took 2 of my spoons. I only got 3 left. And then by the time I get home, I had to cook dinner. That took another spoon.
Who the fuck talks like that? I've never in my life heard anyone say that.
And then I had 2 spoons left and I just really couldn't get much done with 2 spoons. And so you have to then do things to basically power back up.
What is this, The Sims? Are they playing The Sims?
I hate it. It's the whole concept of it. I'm it's so...
This can't be real. This is just Twitter people.
No, it's real. It's a thing people use to explain and describe
spoons.
Yes. I didn't have enough spoons to do this thing. I didn't have enough spoons to do the thing. It infuriates me.
Why?
You know what? Maybe some people find it useful as a way to be able to communicate what they're able to do and not able to do. I don't know.
Well, you surely aren't going to be able to communicate. Who's communicating? I couldn't even speak. That was on me. Literally.
It feels infantilizing. I don't know. I just don't like
those. I feel like those people marry their cars. Right?
The spoons community is going to come for you. So I don't like the phrase the spoons, but also the thing. I didn't have enough spoons to do the thing.
Is it, okay, question. Is it just when it's the spoons in the thing linked in a sentence?
No.
Or is it just like, I couldn't
either
do
or
the thing?
Independently.
I've definitely been guilty of saying the thing before, but it's been a very, very, I feel like there was just a phase where everyone said that in the early 2000s or 2010s. I feel like everyone was like, I can't do the thing.
You ever try to do the thing, but then you just don't have the energy to do the thing?
Those are the people that still say, there's things that I'm willing to admit that I've done. I just don't anymore because it's like super cringe. So it's kind of like when I feel like the thing goes with
Doggo,
and I don't feel like adulting.
Yes.
Granted, I don't feel like adulting, but I don't ever use adulting as a verb anymore. I just say the word, I don't want to be an adult anymore. And I don't, at this point, I'm just, I can't adult today. I feel like that era goes along with when people would say the thing. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a dated phrase at this point that makes you go, why?
Yes, I hate it. I don't like it.
The thing.
So the two other things that I saw on Twitter that I wanted to share with you. The first is this video. I'm going to show you and then you can insert here. Birds are fed by their parents in their infancy. When the time comes to feed themselves, there can be some confusion when the food does not go into their mouths by itself. So the bird is just sees food.
Yeah.
Had to act it out. But no, the bird just kind of.
Oh my God.
It just.
Talk about privileged. Talk about a privileged little bitch.
It's like, but just jump in, like.
It wasn't even like, the bird gives off the energy that it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, jump in.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, right here. It's like, what the fuck is your problem?
You're doing it wrong.
You're stupid. Wow, that is so fucking funny. Holy fuck.
I just wanted to share that with you.
I love that.
I found it very funny.
That is so funny. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll be putting that up. Oh my God.
So the other thing I saw on Twitter was that in New York City, they have a rat problem. I don't know if anybody's familiar if you've been to New York.
Never been to New York, but I know they've got rats.
No, they've got rats. Like huge rats.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like daylight shining full on them. Don't care. Will walk right by you. Man. They're not scared of you. They are just chilling on the side of the street.
They could at least be polite and be
There's
scared.
a rodent problem. So New York City is now limiting taking trash out at nighttime for its residents. So basically they're saying you can't, between these hours and these hours of the night, you can't take your trash out. Basically, you have to do it at a certain time of the day so that the trash isn't sitting out for as long of a period of time and out all night to where it's going to attract the rats. So they think that this is going to help solve the problem. Even though some other people in the comments were making arguments about like, no, you just need to adopt a bunch of cats that are just belong to the city now and establish feral cat colonies.
Dead ass.
Literally, my cats, I don't know that there's bugs in my house if there are. If there's a lizard that gets in somehow, I know it because there's a foot on the floor.
Yeah, our cat's like, I'm going to fuck this up. Mm-hmm. He's caught quite a few mice. And it's like, that's their job.
So they did a press conference. The funny part is that they did a press conference. So I'll read this what is it called? A thread of tweets by @EmmaCourt. Says, New York City is limiting the hours when trash is taken out because of issues with rats, and it's genuinely hard to pick a favorite quote from today's presser. Pick your fighter. Quote, there are many rivers that are feeding the sea of rodents in the city, and today we're damming one of them.
What?
There are many rivers that are feeding the sea of rodents. It's a metaphor.
No, I know. I'm just like, wow, that sounds like the start of a novel.
Uh-huh. But it's great, right? Is this your fighter?
I don't know yet.
There are many rivers that are feeding the sea of rodents in the city, and today we're damming one of them. Quote, the biggest swing you can take in cleaning up our streets is shutting down the all-night, all-you-can-eat rat buffet.
Old country buffet, but rat
Which is very confusing. That syntax is a little misleading because it can be read as it's a buffet that the rats are partaking of, or it's a rat buffet. Like the buffet is made comprised of rats that you're eating.
Yeah.
The all night, all you can eat rat buffet.
Yum. Yes.
Quote.
Delicious.
Rats will hate this announcement.
Oh,
because they're aware.
Pretty good.
They're so good.
This is embarrassing that the human race said these things.
The rats don't run this city. We do.
For fuck's sake. Who the fuck said this?
Wait, it gets better.
No.
I can barely get it out.
Is it that bad?
This is not Ratatouille. Rats are not our friends.
First
this is
of all,
not Ratatouille.
Okay, first of all, I'm sure people who own rats would beg to differ.
First of all, the rat's name isn't Ratatouille. It's Remy.
Yeah, that's the second of all.
Rats are not our friends.
Okay, clearly they've never seen the movie, which now their quote is stupid. And that, well, first of all, there was already issues with it. Second of all, that's definitely not my fight or trash.
And this is the last one.
That was the least best. That was like, that one wasn't that. That's like the bottom of it. The barrel.
This quote is from the Department of Sanitation Commissioner, Jessica Tisch.
Fuck.
Jessica.
Tisch, not me.
Quote, New Yorkers will not have to fear as many rats hiding in late night shadows.
That's embarrassing. I don't think people in New York are afraid of the rats hiding in shadows. I'm pretty sure it's rapists and like murderers and like drug dealers.
I mean, are these feral rats? Are they
after you?
I know that they're just out and about doing whatever they want, but are they, so, you know, anytime you see like a really big spider,
Do you know what that
you're like, I'm afraid it's going to jump at me and attack my face.
Yes.
Are we afraid of the rats just like chilling on the edge of a trash can and then like, meh, like,
I hope that's what they do. But also, second of all, do you know what kind of energy that quote just gave off?
which one?
The one of the New Yorkers won't have to be afraid.
Okay.
That gave off like Marjorie Taylor Greene energy. Oops. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene energy is what that quote gave off.
New Yorkers will not have to fear as many rats hiding in the
That sounds like a conspiracy theory she would come up with. Right?
The rats are out to get us.
Yeah.
The rats aren't just digging in trash cans for food. They're congregating and planning and plotting.
Yeah. She's like, the rats.
They're planning the coup.
They hid the votes. And they caused my divorce.
The leftists used rats in their ploy,
Yeah, you wanna know-
in their attempt to steal the election.
You know why there's so many rats in New York City? Because all the leftists and all the crazy liberals used the rats. They sent them down to Georgia and all the other states that should have been red, and they all just ate the fucking votes. Because that's what because you know what? That's what liberals are. They're fucking rats. And that's their disgusting, that's what she would say. This is a conspiracy theory she would start.
This is the title of our video. Rats stole the election.
Yeah, perfect. And then it needs to have like need to pick a hat that has Trump hair. And there needs to be like a Marjorie Taylor Greene rat as well, just because I think that would be funny. Anyway, that quote so gives off that energy.
I'll Photoshop a rat in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like that's hysterical.
Can I put a rat in a Trump hat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think I won't.
Matt. And I'd like to point out, I'm not saying what political party I'm a part of. That just is funny to me.
I don't care what political party you're a part of. Marjorie Taylor Greene is crazy.
She's literally crazy.
In my personal opinion, don't come
She's
after me.
allegedly crazy.
No, it is my opinion. I'm not stating it's a fact. It's just my opinion that she's cuckoo cuckoo.
Yeah, dead ass though. Seriously, it's like.
Speaking of people who are cuckoo cuckoo, what's his name? Herschel Walker. Bless you, sir. Bless your heart.
That's just
The badge. He pulled out a badge.
And then
he
like,
whipped it out.
Didn't he buy a bunch of them and then hand them out to people too, or some shit?
I
have a complaint about this election.
And you know what's really sad? Sorry, not to cut you off.
Go ahead. You're
not
fine.
to cut you off, but
Not to cut you off, but I'm gonna keep going.
You know what's really funny is that I don't mind revealing this. When I went to go vote in
I don't mind revealing this.
It was the primaries for Georgia when we were selecting the candidates for the parties and whatever. I'm pretty sure for whatever district Herschel Walker was running for, I'm pretty sure I voted for him. But that was literally, it was like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, y'all.
You were like, I don't know who any of these people are, and I'm pretty sure he's a football player. Click.
I had seen the name. Marketing works. That's why they got the signs up everywhere and people run the ads where they just say the names over and over again because, I mean, if anything else, you'll pick the name that you recognize, that you've seen before or heard before. But
wow.
And now that I know that he's, I'm not.
No. I have a complaint, and this applies to anybody. This could apply to Herschel Walker. This could apply to Senator Warnock. Stop sending me things in the mail. I don't want them. You are killing so many trees. Stop it. And it's not even about the trees. I just stopped. It's kind of embarrassing because like it's a lot. It's not just like one. I mean, y'all send me something every day. I don't want it. Like, stop.
That's
my complaint.
Started getting stuff from both sides, which is very fun for me.
I get it from both sides because it's funny, like, you know, voting for a governor or voting for the senator or voting for anything. If you've ever just voted once as Republican and once as Democrat for different areas, you get both now. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter for what. And so, yeah, I get both.
I'm pretty sure in the primaries.
I also live in a household with other people, so there's no telling who they voted for either.
I'm pretty sure for the primaries, I asked for an independent ballot.
Yeah.
Because Georgia, it doesn't really matter. For the primaries, you can vote for whatever. For the primaries,
which I think is nice because then you don't have to like decide. Oh, this is what I am. So I'm like, bruh, I have loyalty to literally nobody.
But I think because I've voted independent in the primaries, I'm now getting both.
I think.
Whereas like the last election cycle, I definitely was just getting one side.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten both because I've voted for different candidates. I feel like I've always gotten an independent ballot as well, though. But I think just because at this point I've now voted both ways. None of your business. And now I just get both. And I'm like, I don't want either. Leave me alone. Please.
I will say that I do like that. Who's our hot representative? Ossoff, yes. I do know that he is, and the reason I know this is because I got a thing in the mail from him saying he was working with the city of Valdosta. Like he had heard about the Valdosta On Demand transportation program that Valdosta started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And he was, I forget how he phrased it, but basically he was co-opting funds to give more funds to the city to expand the program.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and introduce the program into other cities and stuff. Because we don't have public transportation in Valdosta, but now we do. We have a version of it that's relatively cheap. Yeah. Because they've tried other types of public transportation before and it just hasn't worked, even though we're considered a major metropolitan area.
And we keep growing.
I'm actually, I like that he did that.
Yeah, he's done some other stuff that's super impressive too.
Because it's something that, and I'm pretty sure he was able to get bipartisan support for it too.
He's done multiple bills, and like he's proposed multiple things that are bipartisan, and it doesn't get attention because it's not attention grabbing. Because
it's not like a headline controversial issue. No. It's like, is anyone really going to say it's a bad idea to expose a program that has public transportation program that has so far been successful and affordable and helping people in the community?
Yeah.
Like not only is it because it's run by the city, so not only is it making money for the city, but it's also providing people with jobs, and it's also helping people to be able to work more and be more to be able, if you don't have a car, you can now get to work reliably.
Yeah.
And not for super expensive, but you can also then take that car to go spend more money in the economy, in our local economy. So it's just a good thing overall. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with it, no matter what side you're on.
He has other things he's doing too that have not gotten like nearly as much, like not really any attention at all, that are like bipartisan. He's been really big about working with Democrats and Republicans to get things done because he's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
So he's very much like, even though he's Democrat, he's not, I wouldn't say he's like an quote extremist, whatever. I mean, I feel like what an extremist at this point is just something that like the media it's a character at this point almost that the media has just created. I don't think most people are even like that.
I feel like
either side,
most people are pretty close to the middle, and there's a handful of issues they could lean further one way or the other on, but it's a handful.
Yeah. There's like a handful of stuff that most people have their opinion on, and they're going to dig their feet into it, and they're not going to change their mind. I have mine. And so it's like, but that to me, I'm still able to have conversations with people that have different opinions than me on those issues and talk about other stuff that most of the time with other stuff people are in the middle on. But Ossoff is like someone who I think I'm very glad that we will have him for the next what, 6 years, 5 years at this point? Almost, I think he's been almost a year in, or is this his first
No,
year?
he's 2 years in.
Is he 2 years in?
Mm-hmm.
That's right, 'cause
he and Warnock came in together.
That's right. So we'll have him till like what, 2020? Because we have him for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, yeah, I like him a lot.
But I like that he is younger. To be working in government, he has a journalism background, I believe.
Yeah,
so
he came from investigative journalism.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think that he's actually a really good, to play on words, representative of what a representative should be.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely like it's kind of crazy because I think senators get more like attention than like, you know, House representatives because it's such small areas. And so Ossoff, at least for me, I'm like, who else has really come into play that's as young as him and isn't so leaning into the left or the right?
And isn't playing into it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
either.
not playing into it. He's just
not,
like, I'm here to get shit done.
I think part of the reason, like you said, that a lot of these things that he's worked on hasn't gotten a lot of media is because he's not playing into those hot button controversial issues or fanning the flames of whatever. You know, if he has a stance on something, he'll say it.
Yeah.
Like when they were trying to push through it was a Supreme Court justice, I believe. It was, I forget her name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Something Brown. But when they were doing all of the, I guess, vetting and stuff like that, you know, he had his piece to say. He said it, and, you know, that was that. I mean, I remember liking what he said. But I think that a lot of...
He did a really good thing. I can't remember who he was speaking on, but basically he was bringing up the fact of like what the projected numbers were for like the border, Mexico, the Mexican border. And he was like, what are you doing to prepare for what you're saying, what you're anticipating? Are you prepared? And he was really diligent about, no, I'm asking a question. I want an answer. And there's nothing wrong with needing secure borders. You need to know what he said that I liked was that's like the basic rule of sovereignty. You have to have borders and they have to be secure. That's not saying we don't want people in here. It's about being able to know who's here. And so he was bringing up that point and he was really diligent about being like, no, what are you doing? And something he asked that I thought was really smart was, he said, how are you going to measure your success? Because he wasn't just talking about, oh, okay, cool, show your success. He's like, how are you going to measure it so then we can also measure it and make sure that that's what it should have been. And so he's just so...
It's that background. It's that investigative journalism.
100%.
It's knowing the right questions to ask.
Yeah.
And holding people to their feet to the fire to answer the question. If you don't know how you're going to measure success, just say that.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem that you now need to, now that we know that that's a problem, go fix it.
And at one point they were answering him and he had like cut them off, not like rudely, but he was just like, hey, you know, I have a limited number of time I get to speak with you. So I want to make sure I'm asking everything I want to ask. And he wasn't letting them go on this super long tangent.
It's like, okay, that's it.
You're losing the information on. He was like, question, answer. That's not what I asked. This is what I asked. Answer this. I really, really like him. I think that I wish that more people go look at him. He has a YouTube channel. He has all this stuff that he posts on. He's just not someone who's constantly, no one's pushing him on either side because he's not any ammo for either of them. You can't really say anything that bad about him. And you can't use anything he's saying as fuel to either one's fire. But I mean, he's definitely somebody that I'm like, I think most people would find him like a breath of fresh air for politicians.
100%. Because he very much comes across as someone who cares.
Yeah.
And is doing the job for the right reasons.
100%.
He wants to help people. He wants to make life better. He wants to make our country better. He wants to make this state better. And that comes across in, to me, almost everything he says and does.
100%.
And the policies that the things he's trying to implement and work on. So I think a lot of people in politics, I think one, if you're in politics and you don't have his same mindset of, I want to make the country better. I want to make the people that I represent, I want to make their lives better.
Yeah.
If you don't have that mindset, you need to reevaluate why you're doing it.
100%.
And a lot of people already know why they're doing it, and it's not for the greater good.
Nancy Pelosi.
But then also, I think a lot of younger people who were starting to come of age to be able to run for office, he is a source of inspiration for those people.
He's talked about that too. He said he's had multiple people like from both sides, which I'm so sick of saying both sides. Like it's so exhausting, but he was saying that like a lot of them are like, how have you been able to do this? He's only like, he's like maybe 33 now, maybe 34, I think. I thought he was elected in when he was 32.
He's very young.
He's very young. I mean,
I can Google
but
it.
he, something else that he does that to me, he's very much reminiscent of what I always thought a politician should have been, where he's very willing, it seems, to compromise. That's the thing that's like, nobody knows what a compromise even fucking is anymore.
He's 35.
He's 35. Okay. So it's like it's like people in general, especially politicians, there is no middle ground. There is no, hey, how do we figure out this issue together so we can both walk away happy from it? That doesn't exist anymore. But Ossoff is going out of his way to I think almost everything he's done for the most part has been like bipartisan stuff, where he's working with both parties to get things done and communicate well with these people. And that's also what he's saying too. He's like, there are great, good people on every side, and they might have different opinions than you on certain things, but at the end of the day, if they're doing this for the right reasons, they're more than willing to work with you because the goal is to get stuff done. And so I'm like, he's so not getting the attention that I wish he was, but I also know if he gets the attention that I wish that he would, something would happen. And it would
derail all his efforts.
Exactly.
Because then if he gets that attention, it's going to be not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Or people are going to make it not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And then it's going to become, anyone who, it makes you radioactive. Because then anyone from the opposite side who wants to reach across the aisle to work with you, now they can't.
Yeah.
Because their party said, persona non grata, no.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he is a senator.
He's a senator.
And his current term ends in 2027.
That's what okay, yeah. Something else that he has talked about that I do think, and I agree with, and so he is of the opinion that pretty much if you're holding a seat in public office, you should not be able to pretty much participate in the stock market, and neither should your spouses or like I think he
immediate
even said
family.
Immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree, and because he even admits, he's like, we are 100%. We get privileged information. We see this all the time. So to act like that we're not is just a lie.
You get a lot of information that affects global politics and like the global economy.
Yeah.
That we don't know. The general public doesn't know until weeks or months later, if at all.
Wasn't it, which Purdue was it that was like pretty much accused of selling all these stocks and things like that after he said, don't worry about COVID? It was before Ossoff came in.
I don't remember.
Don't worry about COVID, sells everything. And we're like, insider trading?
It's either David or Sonny.
Yeah. I want to say it was David Perdue.
But
it's just like, and then Nancy Pelosi, she was
it's
super
all
pissed.
These senators. It's all these representatives, all these people who are part of the system.
Yeah.
Right? They've been there forever and they don't do anything for the right reasons and they line their pockets.
Yep.
And they take all the benefits but don't want to do any of the fucking work.
No, I mean, literally at this point, like Nancy Pelosi, her husband makes money doing that. That's how they make money. So of course she's against it because like, it's just like, she's at this, people like her that have been doing this for so long, you are the system at this point. You're not working with the system. You're not working to make the system better. You're not even following the rules of the system. You manipulate the rules of the system to get whatever the fuck you want out of it because fuck the rest of us. Like even down to like, this is the shit I was thinking about. I was thinking about the Russia-Ukraine thing, and I was thinking about how this whole nuke talks have been brought up. And I'm like, the citizens of Russia and the citizens of the US, we have zero fucking say about that. We don't get a fucking say on whether or not, hey, can we not do that? It's literally a handful of people in the entire world that get to decide who dies and who lives and who's going to blow what up when we have zero fucking say about it. We don't get to decide how we communicate with Russia. We don't get to decide how we're going to handle a situation. We don't get to decide any of that.
And we're supposed to be able to elect representatives who can speak on behalf of us. But do you know how hard it is to elect somebody who actually can do that?
Yeah.
Effectively?
When you're given these shit-ass choices, dude. Like, what the fuck is this shit? It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm so sick of having to pick the lesser of two evils. The first time I was excited to vote was when I voted for Ossoff. That was the only time I've ever been excited to vote. I wasn't excited for the Hillary Trump thing. I wasn't excited for Trump and Biden. I was not excited. The only person I have ever been excited to vote for is Ossoff.
And it's such a sad thing when you can't get excited or enthused or really get behind and support and behind the cause of somebody who is going to represent your interests.
No, and I'm sitting here like, and I feel horrible too, and I feel horrible for the Russian people. I feel horrible for Ukraine. But it's like, Russia is starting this or began this saga, and the Russian people have zero fucking say about it, just like we have zero fucking say about it. We have zero say. And how the U.S. responds or reacts or does whatever. And it's just so frustrating to think like nuclear warfare can just be talked about and we don't get a fucking say at all in our own lives. Like, that shit is like, how the fuck is it that how is that real?
And it's hard to even wrap your mind around because you talk to any person, is it worth stockpiling nukes and going to a nuclear war? Is it worth anything? Is anything in the world worth going to that stage and getting to that point?
No, it's literally
the
only thing with nuclear warfare is it's just mutual destruction.
Yes.
That's all it guarantees. It guarantees mutual destruction.
It's literally, it's who has the bigger dick.
And I'm like,
that's all it is. It's posturing, but it's posturing with people's lives.
Yeah, and like we have to sit here and hear about it. The regular, everyday people that you all get to, by politicians, get to take our money, and we get to work for a living, and you get to take our money and then blow us up. Mm-hmm. That's like literally, it's ridiculous.
And it's so frustrating.
And that applies to us, that applies to Russia. It's like
you have so little power when it comes to something like that actually matters and can affect everything. We're talking like you don't come back from that.
No. No. And it's just
it's hard to wrap your mind around because it's talked about so casually.
Yeah.
And people just throw that word,
and
nuclear,
even then,
whatever.
Putin had basically brought up the fact that, well, we set the precedent for nuclear war. God damn. We set the precedent for nuclear warfare because we're the ones that used them. I didn't use them. I surely did not do that.
I was but a glimmer in my mama's eye.
Your mama wasn't even born.
She was but a glimmer in her mother's eye.
Yeah, I'm like, these are things that like I had no say in. I don't even have a say now, dude. And it's just like, who are you even going to war for? Yourself. You're going to war for yourself. You're not going to war for your people. If you're going to war for your people, why are you locking all of them up? So many have protested. Why are you doing this? And they throw them in jail. And it's just like, what the fuck? I just can't fathom worldwide, like, issues because of a handful of people that are just selfish and are just like, literally have so little regard for the people they say they're fighting for and care about. Like, no, you don't. Like, they don't. And it's just like, it's terrifying, really, because it's like, okay, well, when's it going to happen? Like, what's going to happen? It's insane. I'm like, so we're like on the brink of World War III. It's like, where we're headed. And then like, every single fucking day is something else that gets brought up. And I'm like, all because of a handful of people. Go have your own Hunger Games with each other. We'll all put you on an island. You all can go there and fight for it by your fucking selves. The regular everyday person just wants to fucking get through the day, dude.
I'm like, when you think about it, like thinking about Russia and Ukraine, like you said, it comes down to a handful of people. Really, in this instance, one person who said, I want my toy back. That's mine. Give it back to me. I want it, right? But any sane, normal, level-headed person, it's like, if your toy doesn't want to belong to you anymore, let it go.
No.
Never. But it's because at the end of the day, why does it matter? Why does it matter if the Ukraine is absorbed back into Russia or not? I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why it matters.
I would think the simplest one is the fact that Putin does not want Ukraine to become a part of NATO because he does not want a NATO country to border him. And that's what it boils down to. At least I think in the simplest of terms.
Okay.
Which, because he feels that at that point it's going to become dangerous for Russia.
Yeah. NATO's encroaching on Russia and blah, blah, blah.
And that's kind of what he has always had an opinion on.
But even then, I'm thinking,
But I agree.
If Texas wanted to secede,
too bad. I'm kidding. No, not just too bad.
I mean, okay, do your thing, Texas.
But then you have all these people in Texas that are like, I don't want to.
Oh my god! Speaking of seceding, have you heard about what's going on is it Oregon? I think it's Oregon. Hold on.
We said 40 minutes. It's an hour.
There's some drama with Oregon and Idaho. I don't know if y'all know about this. I learned about it on Twitter and I forgot about it because I read it like super early this morning.
No.
So Oregon, there's this small section on the east side of Oregon that is there's a movement to secede from Oregon and become part of Idaho. They want to move the border. Yep. So apparently Oregon,
Are we all just stepping back in time?
Oregon to the west side that borders like the coast and stuff tends to be a little like liberal and stuff. And so apparently there's this mountain range that separates like the western part of Oregon from that eastern part of Oregon. Okay. And the people in the eastern part of Oregon tend to be a little more conservative. And so they said that the idea started during the pandemic when people that were the government, which was mainly was representative of the like more liberal whatever part of Oregon. The government basically shut down almost all of Oregon, like all the businesses, like everything, like a lot of other states. They couldn't go out in public. A lot of businesses were forced to close and didn't know when they would reopen, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the people on the other side of the mountain range, on the eastern side of Oregon, it's more rural over there. There's fewer people, and there are fewer people in general, but also fewer people living in concentrated areas. And so before their standpoint is like, well, before they even knew if there was a case of COVID, on this side of the mountain range, they shut down the whole state. So, that might work and be good and an effective thing to do for the more populous cities.
That's what yep.
But for us, it wasn't really affecting us the same way it was affecting that part of the state. And so the people at the state level are now making decisions that are affecting us negatively and they're not for us. Those decisions were not made for us. Mm-hmm. And so that's when the idea started. And so now they're like, well, I don't know how the idea got started. That's just when it got started. And now they're wanting to secede from Oregon, and they can take it to a vote and vote to move the.
What if Idaho goes, I don't want you either?
I don't know.
Idaho goes, ew.
I'm just like, I've never heard of this happening before. And it's wild, y'all. It's the wild Oregon.
Wild Oregon Trail.
Well, I mean, technically it is in the West, wild West, but.
Yeah, that's wild. That is crazy. Like, and that's what me and you talked about, like even how like our governor, he pretty much let the county, city, the local government decide how to handle COVID for their area, mm-hmm. which was really effective because you can't really handle COVID the same way in Atlanta as you would like where we live. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, yeah, you can't just treat the whole state the same. It's not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know a lot of people that are for like smaller government, so like limited big government. Mm-hmm. They oftentimes have the standpoint that like the governor, one of the central roles of the governor is for like state is to, in times of crisis or emergency, be able to divert resources to the local governments, mm-hmm. right? So an example of that would be during hurricane season, like this hurricane that came through and went up through Florida and then came back and was like, we're going to swing back through Georgia and Carolina.
We did a lot of those noises today.
But one of the things he could do is declare a state of emergency. Mm-hmm. And then in those counties, not for the whole state, you could mm-hmm. do for the whole state if you wanted, but in those counties. And then that means that when you declare a state of emergency, it's like a price freeze on certain things like gas, hotel prices, certain things like that. Like, what are they called? Goods that are needed for survival. There's a word for it, but I don't remember. Anywho, but basically that's one of the powers of the governor. And there's a lot of people that have that sort of mindset, or that's what they think that the governor should be used for, is mm-hmm. in those times to be able to, okay, now we're going to divert resources in times of crisis, basically.
Yeah.
Or like, with the same thing with the president, he has the executive order. Mm-hmm. Basically, they're like, that's what it's supposed to be used for.
Yeah.
Not just willy-nilly, whatever.
Exactly.
But that was a complete tangent. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, guys, this was 30 minutes longer than it should be.
Sorry.
We'll figure out. Me, us. Anyway, it's an hour long. It probably won't be though.
Yeah, we can cut this stuff.
So this is episode 2, take 2. And that's it.
Yeah. Follow us on all the things at Waypod, WAYYPOD.
Yes. Like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. I saw someone say that today, so I was like, I'll say it. But no, really.
Our upload schedule, if you don't know, if you're new here, audio is up on Mondays. The video is out on YouTube on Tuesdays. So make sure you go to YouTube and you subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video.
Yes, comment, let us know if you get angry that you have to get gas. God damn it. Damn it.
You're here.
Oh God, what was his name? He was so not into my hair. Long story short. Anyway, let us know if you hate getting gas. Anyway, we'll see you next week. And that's it. Peace out. You know what we didn't do? Introduce ourselves.
Fuck!